Welcome to the Big Movement Podcast. If you're ready to create results and make huge strides in your business, finances, personal development, and health, then you're in the right place. Pushing past excuses and powering through procrastination can be a challenge alone. Here, you'll get the support, tools, and knowledge you need to get to the level you desire in your business and life. Let's get started with your host, Byron Ingram.
And welcome to another episode of the podcast. Today, we are going to talk about, do you know your outcome? You know, in business, it is common for people to create goals to determine what in the heck they want to make happen. However, one key ingredient that's often missing is what outcomes someone wants to create in their life. So I want you to think about this for a moment. How many times have you heard from a business coach or someone that you know that say that you need to create a series of goals for your business, how much you want to make, and you know, how many employees you want to have, and et cetera, those types of things. You know, it's pretty much a standard operating procedure for coaches in today's world. However, one thing that is missing is that personal component. You see, the personal component is actually deciding what you want your life to look like. You want to know exactly the type of lifestyle you want to have. You want to know where you want to live, the schools you want your children to attend, and so on. You see, the reason why this is important is because you see your life outcome. In all honesty, it needs to be determined before establishing these business goals because it drives everything that you do in your business. I want you to think about it for a moment. That when you establish business goals, like say, okay, you want to make $10,000 a month, you want to do blank, have, of speaking, let's say, in different countries and so forth. What you end up doing is you've created yourself a job that has parameters to it. So as a result, you might not be able to do the things that you truly want. So let's turn it on its head a little bit. Imagine for a moment, let's say that someone's goal was to send their children to a private school. You see, that's going to affect what would take place in the business to make it happen. So you see, the more that you know about the outcome that you want to have, the more it's going to drive your business so you can live that ideal lifestyle. So I want you to think about that for a moment. Say you want to send your kids to a private school. You want to, let's say, travel a certain number of times a year. You want to live in a certain home. And all these things like that. Well, guess what that does? It forces you to start thinking, how do you need to grow and scale your business to make that a reality instead of what happens in reverse? This is the way which most people live. So think about it this way. You see, today in the world, especially when it comes onto outcomes and goals, people adjust their lifestyle based on the income they create. So think about all the people, they work for somebody else. And let's say, they would love to make $100,000 a year, but they're making, let's say, $30,000 a year. Do you think that affects what they're going to be able to do? Of course it does. Think about the vacations they would love to take. They want to go to Disney World, but instead they go to the local museum because it's taking vacations that fits in their budget versus what they want to be able to create. See, when you live your life in the reverse, and that's to put it on purpose, you now do the things that you want to do versus the way most people do it. They allow their lives to be determined by somebody else. And you see, life is too short to let someone else determine what you can and cannot do. If you want to be able to, let's say, take 3 months off every single year, but you only get 7 days vacation, there's a little bit of a difference there that you need to make up. So it's not just sitting back idly and saying, well, this is the end of it, so I guess this is all there is. No, you have to determine, if you want to make that happen, what do you need to do to facilitate that? It's the same thing if you want to send your children to private school, what do you need to do to make that happen? If you want to be able to live in a fancy neighborhood, well, what do you need to do to have that happen? If you want to, let's say, drive a Tesla, well, what do you need to do to, build to afford the payment for that? All those things determine what you should be doing in your business. So how do you ultimately change these outcomes? Well, if we want our lives to be this to be outcome oriented, we must first declare to the world how we're going to live our lives. So that means tearing up that old goal sheet that you have, like, okay, you want to make X amount of dollars, such you want to write down, I am going to live my life doing blank. I will have, a large house. I'm living in this, I have these things. Now it's written out with purpose, that the outcome that you're going to live in. See, at this point, we can begin moving forward because we know this is the way that you want it to look like. And then because of that, you can create a business plan that facilitates it. And that means instead of just writing out the goals, you want to make X amount of dollars in the beginning. Now, since you know what you want your life to look like, let's say that you need to make $300,000 a year because you realize, like, oh my gosh, the things that we want to do, it costs a whole lot more. Well, now you can structure your business to facilitate that, because if you did it in reverse, well, I just want to make $100,000 a year, but you really need to make 300. Suddenly, you're scaling back your lifestyle because you didn't do it in the right order. So this is why it's super critical as we move forward in the world. We must declare the outcomes first that we want to have in our lives before coming up with a single business goal. Because you see, we create a business to allow us the freedom to have a lifestyle that we want. It means that we might have to work harder than others, because then we are working hard now to have the life that other people can only dream of. This is why we must declare outcomes and then create the business goals. So if you enjoyed today's episode, do me a huge favor. Go ahead and hit that share button, because someone out there, they need to hear this message so that way they can start designing their life to live it on their terms.
Thanks for listening to the Big Movement Podcast today. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Now that you've surely been inspired to take your entrepreneurial career and business to the next level, you can stop by the website and get more. And if you're ready to boost your business brand, be sure to grab your free report, 7 Easy Steps to Build Your Brand Today.